let's talk a little bit about unity. So I have gone into this, and as you can see, I have been working on my blueberries, and I've worked to bring those out, especially this one right here. And I also worked to mute out some of those leaves that I had. One thing that I ended up doing with my blueberries is I added some elements that you see, some of the color elements from my leaves, and then one other thing that I did do to my leaves is I actually added a little bit of the blue that you see that's in the blueberries to the leaves. So whenever you're working on this, repetition is so very, very important. And then like we said in the other video, finding that space and that area that you truly want to bring out and highlight for your audience to see. One thing that I am doing is I am having most of my color be on my actual plant, and I'm having like little bitty faint areas, almost like reflections of colors, be in my background. So in my background here so far, I'm putting just a little bit of fuchsia, like this little part right here, very, very lightly, and some of my darkest areas back here. And I may end up introducing something else. I feel like something else is needed in that space. One thing that I'm keeping in mind when I'm pulling in just really faint, they're almost like stains of colors. You can see just a faint stain of orange right there. I think about these colors right here, and obviously we know that orange is complementary to blue. And then over here, I started to put just a little faint blue, just little washes of blue back here on top of my gray, just to help bring out, this is kind of a warm tone in general. You can feel a little bit more warm when you look at that as opposed to, you know, this is, the blueberry is extremely cool. So with putting the cool color back here, it's going to bring out the warmness here. So it is really helpful to pull in some of the opposite of what you see around what you have, so that that will stand out. What I am doing is I'm not introducing any new colors. I am repeating what I've done here and here into my backgrounds. And literally all you may see in this little space is that little hint of orange. I may pull in just a little bit more. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more of the yellow, just a bit, but it's very, very, very light and very minimal. And so I'm working on top of some of the dark that has already been added on here when I'm adding my stain. And when this dries, you're going to barely see it. So just keep that in mind as you work. And in the other video, I did talk about watercolor. You have to have patience to do it, and you have to work on the process of layering. You can't just get dark quick. It has to be the process, a gradual process as you go. And it is part of the waiting game. You do a little, and then you go to another part, and then you wait for your original part to dry, and then you come back to that part. And it's kind of like Christmas. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. And you always work on building those things that you're doing. So one other thing to think about when you are trying to figure out your background, think about with your shape divisions that you have put in there, where do you want your eye to perceive the deepest depth of what you drew? And when you choose your color, you know, if you're choosing cool colors, it's going to push your eye back. And so if that's what you want, if you want this, for instance, to look like it's more in the background than, say, this yellow, that's what you would do. It's really in the colors that you choose, depending on, you know, what your object is going to be and also the depth of what you have in your piece. So the next little video that I'm going to do is actually going to be including different types of media. I'm planning on doing just a little bit of color pencil, just a touch of it, just so that you can kind of see the effect of that. So majority of this is going to be pen and ink and watercolor, but I do want you to see what that can do as well. So anyway, we'll look forward to the next one.